Namaste all. I'm Yug, I'm 13 years old, and I live in the US. And this story that you're listening to right now is just one of the many stories that I've told in my collection of Hindu Itihas stories. And without further ado, let's start the story. So today I'm going to be telling the story of Yayati. So Yayati, or Y, is just originally a prince. And this story starts in a completely other place, in the ashram of Shukracharya, where Devyani is just sitting there and she's just spending her time. By the way, Devyani is Shukracharya's daughter. And Shukracharya is a very great sage for the Asuras. If you want some more information on these two people, make sure to check out the story of Kach and Devyani. But before you see that, you can see this as well. And one day, Sharmishta, who is pretty much one of Devyani's favorite friends, they're pretty much BFFs, comes and she says, Shukracharya, could we please play with Devyani? We want to go to the forest and swim. Is that okay? And Shukracharya, who's just doing meditation, is like, okay, yeah, fine. But I really love her, so please take good care of her. And Sharmishta and Devyani both leave in order to swim in the lake, along with a few other of their friends. And after they put their clothes in heaps near the lake, they separate it that, hey, this is Sharmishta's clothes, this is Devyani's clothes. They just start swimming in the lake, and some wind breaks up all of their groups, and they quickly reorganize it, and all of them, after taking a good bath, they go back. Until Devyani sees that Sharmishta took Devyani's blouse. And a blouse is pretty much a shirt. And Devyani really felt that Sharmishta wanted to steal her blouse. So Devyani quickly tells Sharmishta, saying, how dare you take my garment? This is not allowed. You stole my stuff. And Sharmishta, who's completely stunned, she's like, no, I didn't mean to. It was an accident. And Sharmishta has no idea how to respond to this. She says, hey, it's not as if I'm just taking something that's yours. Those clothes are already somebody else's. Because sages, they normally ask other people for food and clothes. Basically, they normally get second-hand stuff. So Sharmishta decided to exploit this, and she says, that's not even your clothes. It's probably some other random dudes. It's not even... I didn't do anything wrong. And they both start arguing a lot. And eventually, Sharmishta, she starts running near a little well, which is a place to drink water. And you probably know what a well is, but make sure to search it up if you don't. And Devyani quickly runs after her while she's running towards the well, and she pulls her back, but Sharmishta turns around and pushes Devyani into the well. And they all walk away. So Devyani, who was just stuck in the well, she tries passing by, and eventually a king, whose name is Yayati, he passes by and he says, oh my god, wait, I'm really thirsty. Is there any wells nearby? And he goes into the well where Devyani is just sitting there trying to spend her time. And Devyani quickly says, hey, please rescue me, O king. I am the daughter of Shukracharya. And Yayati quickly says, oh my god, wait, Shukracharya? He's such a huge and famous sage. I need to rescue her. So he quickly rescues Devyani, and Devyani instantly falls in love with him. She's like, oh my god, how strong he is, how firm of a grip he has. I wish I could marry him. And eventually she feels that, hey, could I please see him again? But after that, she quickly runs back to her father. And she says, hey, I want to leave this kingdom. If this kingdom is dependent on a daughter like Sharmishta, I want to leave. She has hurt me very deeply with her insults. And Shukracharya, who, as I said previously, loves his daughter very much, he went into the palace and he said, "Hey, O king." And by the way, Shukracharya's dad, who was the king, his name was Vrishaparva. So King Vrishaparva, after Shukracharya went into his palace, he said, "Hey, I'm leaving. I'm done." And instantly the king falls down saying, "Hey, what have I done? Have I hurt your feelings? Have I done anything wrong?" And instantly Shukracharya says, "Hey, just talk to your wife. She'll tell you." Not wife, sorry, daughter. She'll tell you. And instantly Sharmishta comes into the room and she says, "Hey, I'm very sorry. I have made this mistake. I hurt Devyani's feelings." And she probably wants to leave this kingdom. And eventually the king says, "Hey, no, if we lose Shukracharya, all of the Asurs will lose. We will lose the battle with the Devas, or the gods, and we will be shamed. Please do something in order to make sure that Shukracharya comes back." And Sharmishta goes to Devyani and she says, "Hey, I'll do anything. I don't care. Do anything with me, but please stay." And Devyani says, "Hey, Sharmishta, I wish you to become my maid." So Sharmishta, who is now Devyani's maid, they spend time together and pretty much they become friends again. But only thing is, Sharmishta pretty much obeys whatever Devyani tells her to do. And one day, King Yayati is just riding by and he sees Devyani. And Devyani notices him and she instantly runs to Yayati saying, "Hey, I love you. Could we please be married?" And eventually, Yayati, he says, "Okay, yes, fine. I love you too. Can we get married?" And eventually, because whenever you get married, you're supposed to ask blessings of the father, or pretty much it's more of a permission that, "Hey, can I please marry your son or daughter?" And after Yayati meets Shukracharya, he introduces himself saying, "Hey, I'm Yayati. I'm the son of Nahush." If you don't know who that is, make sure to check out that story. It's a pretty good story. But that's just a quick little tidbit, by the way. But Yayati was the son of Nahush, meets Shukracharya, and Shukracharya instantly says, "Oh my god, you're a king? 100% you can marry my daughter. But please take good care of her because I love her very deeply." And they get married, and in Yayati's kingdom, even the townspeople, not more of a townspeople, but his subjects, as better known, all love her, saying, "Oh my god, she's so beautiful. She will surely make our king happy." Everybody will love her. And when they went to the kingdom, Devyani quickly brought her maid with her as well, who was obviously Sharmishta. And Devyani, who also treated Sharmishta as a friend, said, "Hey, could we please have like a separate house built for Sharmishta? That way she doesn't have to live somewhere else." And after that was built, one day Yayati was just walking and he saw Sharmishta. He's like, "Whoa, Sharmishta is actually really beautiful." And they both decide to get married. But Devyani has no idea that her husband has two wives. And eventually they get sons. So Devyani and Yayati both get sons, and so do Sharmishta and Yayati. So Yayati has 5 children in total. Devyani gave birth to 2, while Sharmishta gave birth to 3. And eventually, Devyani actually finds out that her husband was cheating on her. Or at least that's what she felt, even though it's perfectly fine for a husband to have 2 wives back then. And according to the scriptures, the Hindu scriptures like the Vedas and the Upanishads, it's also okay. But Devyani was deeply hurt, saying, "You have married my maid And she quickly runs away. She's like, hey, no, I'm not spending any more time with you. Please leave. So Devyani quickly runs all the way back to her home. She's probably like some marathon sort of runner because that was all the way really long distance. And she eventually instantly finds her father. She probably had like some GPS thing or something. I have no idea how she did it though. But Yayati, who had followed Devyani the entire way, came and Shukracharya says, hey, I curse you. You have, since it was your curse of youth and your lust that caused you to marry Sharmishta as well, may you instantly lose your entire youth and become old this very minute. And boom, Yayati instantly turned into a really old man with a broken back. But he didn't have the wisdom that many other aged people have. So he was still young at heart, but in physical body he was really old. But Devyani, who still cared for Yayati, told her father saying, hey, please don't do this to him. What have you done to him? And Shukracharya gives a loophole to the curse saying, hey, I can't revert the curse. That's not possible. But I'll give you a loophole saying, if you can find somebody else to switch their youth for your old age, then it will be fine. So quickly, Yayati, he somehow runs, even though he's really old, back all the way to his kingdom. And Devyani stays, and Devyani's pretty much out of the picture. She leaves him forever. And Yayati, he's like, hey, he calls all 5 of his sons and he asks them one by one, will you switch your youth for old age with me? All 4 of them say no until the youngest one, whose name was Buru, he says, okay, yeah, fine, I'll switch it. And Buru, he says, Yayati tells Buru saying, hey, if it's okay, I'll use your youth for 1,000 years and you will remain an old man for 1,000 years. But then we will switch and you can become the king. So Puru, as an old man, just laid there. He just spent his time while Yayati actually enjoyed his life as much as he can as a young man. And after 1,000 years, he comes back to Puru and he switches his youth for his old age. And he gives the entire kingdom to Puru saying, hey, you were the only son that actually did this for me. You have shown your devotion to me, and here's my entire kingdom. And now, Yayati, who is back to an old man as he was originally because of Shukracharya's curse, he decides to go away into a forest and he just does meditation. And he spends the rest of his life there. And that's the story of Yayati. I did like the story because it really does connect to a ton of other stories, such as Nahush, and on top of that, it also connects to Kutch and Devyani. You might also want to check out those stories if I've not already said that before. But I also did like that eventually it did work out, and instead of, having old age forever, he was able to switch, and Buru actually gained something for it, not as if Buru was just left there as an old man. So that's the story of Yayati, and namaste.